What's up and welcome to my tutorial on using the in-game demo renderer for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This is a method where you can render out your demos in a super smooth and super clean way instead of doing it the unclean way that many people use, where you play back the demo and you basically record it with external software like FRAPS or something like that. This way you can do very clean video, you get every single frame, no frame jumps, no missing frames. You can do super slow motion, you can do 180 frames per second, you can do 1000 frames per second. So if you do 1000 frames per second and you render it out at 30 frames per second, you can do it 33 times slower playback rate than normally and still have smooth video. Anyway, let's jump right into it. First of all, I'm gonna talk a bit about this render config that I've set up. So opening this up with any text editor, you can just go through the settings and change whatever you want changed. You can do this for every single video depending on what settings you want. So I'm just gonna take you over most of them. Some of them I'm not really gonna explain because you just need to have them like that, and it's just best that way. Cheats need to be on because some of these commands require it. Siva on Harol. I'm not really sure this command still works after the update that allowed host frame rate to be changed, but I mean, it doesn't do any harm to just have it on. So mat set video mode, this is the command that defines what resolution you want to render your video and if you want it to be full screen or windowed. For some reason it seems to perform best when you have it in windowed. I render at 1080p because I want my final video to be at 1080p. If you want it to be at 720, you just set the exact resolution you want, the exact rendering resolution. You can just view in game what resolution you have available for your aspect ratio. Host sync FPS 1. I'm not really sure this command actually works either, but it's good to have on because it will sync your FPS with the in-game tick rate. Host thread mode 0. For some reason, demos do not work. The demo render does not work in multi-core mode, so you're gonna have to render on a single core. So if you have a multi-core CPU, you cannot take advantage of it. Sadly, this does the same thing just for material queuing. Weapon recall model, this will make sure that your view model is not flippy flopping all over the place when people are shooting in the demo. You can of course set it to 1 if you want to. I like to have it at 0 because it makes the video look more clean. All the pros, if you will, use this at 0. Mat post process enable, this will disable at 0. It will disable post processing, so you can do, I mean honestly, I'd rather do post-processing in the video editor after I'm done with recording or rendering the video itself, because then I have more control of it. This way I get the clean picture without anything on it. These are just the binds. So bind O, this is the button you want to start recording at. When you click this button, it's going to start rendering and your game is going to lag out a lot probably, but you're just going to live with that. And this is the path. This is the command itself. This is the path it's going to render it. So in a folder called movies in your Counter-Strike folder, there's going to be a folder called movie, and it's going to record every single frame as a TGA picture, and it's going to record the sound as a wave. Now the sound is not going to work on GoTV demos, so if you go to the watch tab in your game and you download a demo in there and watch that, you cannot get the sound. You're gonna have to do that manually by recording the demo with FRAPS and overlaying the sound and taking the sound effects from the game files or something like that. You cannot get it from the video itself. It's a bit of a hassle, but it's really not that difficult to get. It's just to make sure you don't have anything bound on the P button. Now bind P and movie. This is the button just next to O on the Nordic keyboard anyway. You're going to press when you want to stop rendering. So when you've got the entire piece you want rendered out, you just press the P button and stop rendering and you can close your game. Match HDR enabled, but just to make sure you have high dynamic range enabled. This will make the colors look much better. Now this is where it gets interesting. Host frame rate. This is how many frames per second you want rendered. Basically, it doesn't render a video directly. We're gonna get into that later. It renders each frame as an image, an uncompressed image, so it's gonna be really, really large. You're gonna need a lot of hard drive space for this. If you have an SSD, even better. It's gonna go a lot faster. Mine is a bit bottlenecked because my SSD broke, so I only have an HDD. No HDD, what the fuck am I talking about? HDD, which is sort of slow, so it's gonna bottleneck it. It's gonna slow down a bit sometimes, especially when I'm recording. As we show impacts, it's just good to have off in case you had it on for some reason. I don't know why. Probably off to begin with, but anyway, netgraph 0. If you have netgraph on, this will disable it for you. Show FPS, same thing basically. HUD scaling. This is only for the depth notices. I like to have them a bit smaller than normally, but if you like to have them normal size, you can just gonna set this at 1. This is the normal size. 2 is double size. 0.75 is where I like to have it. HUD show target ID. This is like the little name of your teammates, rendering in 3D. HUD take shots. This is the red that shows around your screen when you get shot from one of the sides. This will disable it. It looks much cleaner in the game. Hide radar 1, blah blah blah, obviously. Sealed raw only death notices. This will disable the entire heads-up display except for the death notices in the top right corner. So when your guy in the demo shoots someone in the face, it's going to show the headshot death notice, which looks good. Seal right hand 1. If you set this to 0, the view model is going to be mirrored to the left hand. If you like that, you can have that, but I normally play with left hand. I've just always done that since Counter-Strike Source. But you can, I mean, I use seal right hand 1 to have it in right hand on the videos, but I play with left hand, so just have it at 1 in this CFG. This will disable kill assist from showing up in the death notices. Now, host timescale. As I said, if you're recording a GoTV demo, i.e. one you've downloaded from the watch tab in the game, you need to have host timescale at 0, and it's going to break the sound. There's going to be no sound. If you're doing a point of view demo, when you've recorded manually, you can have this at 1, and you can use sound that way. That's just very important, because if you have this at 1 with a GoTV demo, it's gonna lag the fuck out and it's gonna crash your game. It's not gonna work. I'm not sure if you can have it at 0 for point of view demos, but it's gonna disable the sound anyway, so why not just have it at 1 for point of view demos. Seal interrupt ratio, just a bit of smoothing to smooth out stuff. So if someone is lagging in the demo, it won't show. Seal custom material override. Let's say you have a fancy AK Fire Serpent in your demo, but in the demo you want, in the video you're making, you want the AK just be the normal AK. You can just set this to 1. Actually, I don't remember which way it is. I think if you set this to 0, it's gonna use the custom skins. If you set it to 1, it's gonna override and use the default skins. So that's basically the config. And now, before we do anything else, before we use this config, we're gonna go to our Counter-Strike folder. Should be in the Steam folder somewhere. So let's just find Steam, Steam apps, Common, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, CSGO, CFG. Now, we want to back up this entire CFG folder because when you use the when you use the render config, it's basically going to overwrite some stuff in your config. So you want to back the one you use for playing, you want to back that one up. And now you're just going to take the render config, drag it into your CFG folder in the game, and Oops, another thing we want to do is inside the CSGO folder you want to make a folder called movies, because the path in our CFG, in our demo render CFG, was movie/movie. So it's gonna save the frames in here. And now we are ready to go in game. Okay, so now that we are in game, we're ready to just set up the game settings real quick before we go into the demo. So go into options, video settings, and you want to probably have all your settings on high. Anti-aliasing, you want to have some anti-aliasing, because it's gonna look really bad on the video itself if you don't. It's gonna grab the exact frames right out of the game with no processing. But don't use too much anti-aliasing, because it's gonna make the rendering really slow. I did 120 frames per second with 16 times CSAA, which looks good, and it took me about 4 minutes to render 8 seconds of in-game footage. So 2 times anti-aliasing or 4 times is probably fine on a resolution like this. If you're doing 720p, you probably want a bit more, but then again, lower resolutions don't take as long to render. Any fucking how. So now we have the settings set up. You can go into your demo. If you have a point of view demo, you open the console and you just type play demo. You probably know this in the demo name. But in this case, I'm going to use a GoTV demo. So I'm going to go to my downloaded demos, and I'm going to watch the demo. Using all my hard drive space. So now you're gonna press Shift and F2 to bring up this menu. Or if that doesn't work, open the console and type demo UI. It's gonna open the same thing. And you want to skip forward to the round that you want. In my case, it is round 25, so we're gonna skip all the way up there. Before we do that, we're just gonna press the button to disable X-ray, because we don't want that on our video. And we're gonna go to my player view. There I am. Okay, round, and it's the next round. So it's this round, and we're just gonna go forward to. It's about here. I want to record. I'm about to do a 4K spray down ish, sort of. Not a really spray down, but it's connected kills. So, nonetheless. So. Once you've paused it here, you want to close this, and you'll want to open your console, and you'll want to type in exec render config. And when you press enter, your game's gonna be a bit fucked up. It's gonna be misaligned, but that doesn't matter. Just do it. Okay, so once you've done that, your game should feel a bit smoother-ish, because the timescale is set to 0 and the sync FPS is on. And you can just go ahead and close the console, open the demo UI, Shift F2 again. Now you want to do this in really quick succession. You want to press resume, then you press Shift F2 really quick to close the demo UI, and then you press O to start rendering. And when you start rendering, the game is going to lag out a shit ton, but that's really fine. So resume, Shift F2, O. And you can see it's really slow right now, and it's only displaying the things I wanted it to display. So once this demo is done recording, I'm gonna basically I'm just gonna skip forward to that. You just press P to stop the rendering, and then you can just go ahead and close the game. So once you've closed the game, we're gonna need a piece of software called Virtual Dub. This is gonna, if you just go to your Counter-Strike folder, CSGO, and in movies where you put all the frames, I only have 242 frames, so that's really not a lot. Normally I have, like, I'd say, that depends on the length of the video, really, but a lot more. You have to think that this is 180 frames per second, so this is not even 2 seconds of video. I just recorded a tiny bit just for the sake of this video. So we want to combine all of these frames, and for that we're going to use Virtual Dub. So I'm going to leave a link for the website virtualdub.org. You're going to go to Downloads, click Virtual Dub at SourceForge, and release build 10.10.4 stable 32-bit version. Even though you have a 64-bit OS, you do not want to download the 64-bit version. This one is just more stable, and you can use plugins if you want to with this one. So download that. Gonna take you to this website right here. You download without 3 seconds. Just use direct link, and it's gonna start downloading. It's a really small file, and I'm just gonna take you through the setup as well. When Chrome is fucking done scanning it, there we go. So basically, this is not even an install. This is just all the files that you need. So you're gonna go and create a folder. You can just put it anywhere you want, basically, but I like to have my stuff organized. So we're just gonna do virtual dub tutorial, and you're just gonna drag all of this in there, and now it's basically installed, and you can open it up by opening virtualdub.exe, and this is the software. I've created a shortcut for mine on the taskbar here. You can do that as well if you want to. So what we're gonna want to do now is we're gonna want to go to the Counter-Strike folder in the movies where we have all the frames, and you're just gonna take the first frame, movie 0000 0000, and you're gonna drag that in virtualdub, and it's gonna open all your frames. So you basically have the entire video here. See that I recorded like a really short one just for testing. You can see here how smooth it is, even if I drag it slowly. Now we recorded at 180 frames per second, but this video is gonna render out at 10 frames per second in slow motion, and we don't want that. So to fix that, we're gonna go to video, frame rate, and change frame rate to, and you're just gonna type in the frame rate that you recorded at. And once you've done that, go to File, Save as AVI, select anywhere you want to save it, and this is not the final video. This is just so that we can take it into a piece of software like Sony Vegas or something. This is still uncompressed, so it's the pure frames, which looks amazing, and you're just gonna save it there, and it's gonna start rendering it out. Now this might also take a few years if it's a long video, but this one is super short, so it won't take that long. Blah blah blah, and now it's done. So we can bring this into Vegas right now. Okay, so the good thing about having, oops, I already have a project open here apparently. Just gonna mute this, and we're gonna make it a new layer. The good thing about having a video like this, if you just open the properties, is that this is 180 frames per second, which means you can do, if you drag it in and just play it normally, god damn it, I wanted to zoom in on that one. Anyway, we're just gonna pre-render it by selecting it and pressing Shift and B. Okay, and it's done. When you play it back, it's gonna play it back at normal rate. But what you can also do is that you can make slow motion. Say we're gonna render out at 30 frames per second, so I can render it 6 times slower. Now if we take 180 and divide it by 6, we're gonna get 30. No, yeah, obviously I'm an idiot. So I'm just gonna make this entire video slow motion by holding down Control and dragging it out like this. And we'll need to pre-render it again. Just gonna go a bit faster because it's slow motion now, less frames to render. I won't even render the entire thing. But if you play this bit, it's still not in slow motion for some reason. Okay, we're gonna drag it out even further. See, it doesn't even take that long to render out right now. That's fine. So now it's a bit more slow motion, still smooth even. And if you drag it out even more, as far as we can get, basically. I don't know if this might be too much, we'll see. If you want to do super slow motion, you'll want like something like 1,000 frames per second, but that is not often that you want that, because it's really takes a lot of RAM and a lot of computer power. So now it's super slow motion, pretty slow right now. You can go even slower with the velocity control. I'm not gonna go over all the Vegas functions, but yeah, so now you have the video, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. So that's basically it. Once you're done, you just go to your Counter-Strike Global Offensive folder, Cisco, and you fuck off, and you copy the CFG folder back in there and overwrite anything that might have changed, and your game will be back to normal. So thanks for watching. I hope this helped some people. I had a lot of trouble in the past figuring out how to do this, but it's really quite simple once you figure it out.